So welcome to Iliwan Academy Open Day. So I think today we have a number of people who have invested with us, invested in our projects, in our properties, and also we have some agents here that want to learn about property investment. So what am I going to talk about today? All right, there are quite a vast topic to talk about property investment. So first of all, later I'll introduce myself. Who is this guy who is speaking about property investment and why is he qualified speaking about property? So I'll introduce myself later. The second one, I'll talk a bit about my property investment journey. I'll show you some of the data, some of the photos that some of the properties that I have already invested. Okay. Third, I'll talk about why people invest into properties. What are their motives? Okay, why you want to invest into properties? Then we'll go into a bit more technical. We want to understand about capital appreciation. Well, in the surface, okay, on the surface, it sounds easy, like capital appreciation means the profit you make, but in fact, it's not. Okay, there are a lot of things hidden in property investment that a lot of people actually do not know. So we'll talk about that later. And then we want to understand about rental yield. There are a few things that we need to understand about rental yield. First is a gross rental yield. How do you calculate that? Second is the cash to cash return on the rental yield. And how do we calculate that? Third, I'll talk about SME loan. How you can actually leverage on property to get a small, medium enterprise loan. Okay, this one, because I run a few businesses, so I understand how it actually works, how you can actually make use of property to grow your business. This is quite an interesting part. I will also show you some of the supporting documents. Okay, then after that, I'll show you some of the case studies. I'll take quite a number of case studies to talk about property investment. And finally, what are the opportunities out there that all of us actually can leverage right now to invest our money into? Okay, we'll talk about that. All right, so let's begin. So my name is Dave Chong. I'm the Group Vice President for IQI Holdings. And I actually grew up in a town south of Kuala Lumpur called Sri Kembangan. Okay, who actually do not know where Sri Kembangan is, you put number 2 in the checkbox below. I believe most of you actually know, right? Sri Kembangan. It's also called Serdang. Serdang. A lot of good food over there. All right. So I went to SMK Sri Kembangan. Then after that, in Form 3, I actually went to Catholic High School in PJ. After that, I studied A-level in Taylor's Universities. Okay, Taylor's College. This is in the Subang Jaya campus. All right. And then this is my classmate. Actually, out of all these people, okay, 9 actually went to Cambridge University in UK. And out of the entire Malaysia who applied for Cambridge, 10 people got it. 9 was from my class. This is from Taylor's College. Okay, this is me back in 2004 in London. So I actually went to London, Imperial College London, to study civil engineering. Okay, this is my college. And then this is my dormitory back in the old days. And this was my classmate, part of my classmate. And then of course, as usual, we like to party. This was a photo taken during my school days. And sometimes I got lucky. I'll meet some of the superstars. Like this is in Trafalgar Square. I met Tom Cruise. It was a very good experience. Like I was just walking around the shopping district, and then suddenly a car actually stopped in front of me, and then someone actually walked down, and I saw, oh, it's Tom Cruise. And that time was World Cup time, so I didn't have a piece of paper, so I passed him a ball. Okay, a football. I bought a football that day, and then I make him sign on my football. I still have the football in one of my friend's house. And of course, during school days, we go and watch football. This was Chelsea versus Liverpool. And then, you know, this guy in the middle, he's called Murad. I mean, some of you might not know him, but actually he's actually the most famous Instagrammer in the world. So he was my classmate. If I show you this photo, you know. Follow me. All right, follow me. This photo was taken by him, and he is really, really famous. And we studied together in Imperial College London. And recently he got married. I think his wife also got pregnant. Okay, this was my graduation ceremony. Okay, So let me show off a bit of my little small achievements in school. Yeah. Okay. When I was studying secondary school, SPM, I got full A's. Okay. L-level, Taylor's Cambridge L-level, I got full A's. In Imperial College London, I got my first class honor degree in Master of Engineering. Okay, that was back in 2008. So I graduated as first class honor. Okay, and in sports, okay, I like to play table tennis. So I was representing Petaling, Daerah Petaling, and I got Johan. Johan means champion. It was back in the old days. And then I also play basketball. So this was a youth club basketball competition in my area in Sri Kemangan. So we got champion, first prize. And then this was in Nottingham Games. So in UK, a lot of Malaysians actually joined the Malaysian Society, and Malaysian Society actually organized a yearly event that will be held in Nottingham in the UK. And we will play a lot of sports, sometimes like basketball, football, volleyball, badminton, and then we compete. So one of the year we got a gold medal in 2007. Okay, and then after that, I actually worked for a few companies as an intern in the UK. This was Chorus. It was Michael Barclay's partnership in London as a consulting engineer. And then after that, after my graduation, I joined Foster Wheeler. It's an oil and gas company. This is me. You can see my mouse over here. This is an international team. So we have Malaysian, Chinese, Iraqi, Sudanese. This is Chinese, this is Russian. We have people from India. This is in my direct boss. So we work in a few projects in Australia and also in India in the oil and gas industry. So I was the structural and civil engineer. I was tasked to actually design the civil foundations and the structural steelwork for some of our projects. Okay, so in 2010, I decided to quit my job. Okay, I decided to say, hey, enough is enough. I don't want to work like 9 to 9, sometimes like 9 to 10. And I said, enough. I quit my job at the end of 2010. I came back to Malaysia. So when I was in Malaysia, I started a bird nest trading company. So I actually collect bird nests from some of the suppliers, and then I actually clean it, and then I sell it to China. Like this is the photo taken in the interior of a birdhouse. Okay, for those who do not know bird nest is a kind of Chinese delicacy that the Chinese really like to eat because it's very full of nutrition, like full of collagens, and ladies, especially the ladies that love it. All right. Okay, these are the birdlings. I think some of you have not seen this before. It's highly ethical, you know. Some people say that, hey, you actually take the nest of the birds and then they have nowhere to stay. Actually, we don't. We actually wait for the birdlings, the small birds, to actually fly away. They never come back, and then only we take the nest. So it's a highly ethical industry, contrary to popular belief that we actually kill the birds. No. The birds population actually increased tenfold because people start to eat bird nests. Okay, this is my team. Okay, this is Tony Yap in the old days. This is Jackie. Well, for those, I think some of you follow his life also, right? Tony Yap is a property guru right now. I also started a business in Ningbo. It's a town south of China, south of Shanghai, in a retail. Okay, bird nest retail. This is my Chinese partner. And this is me. Okay, so in 2013, I started another business called NNC. So we started to trade plastic film material. So later I'll explain how we can actually leverage on properties to grow a business. I think some of you might be in business. So a lot of people actually do not know that you can actually leverage on properties to actually get a loan for your business. I'll show you later. Okay, so I actually went to China. This is Shaoxing, and started to look at the factories, and then we started buying material from China and import it into Malaysia. So this is our container. So we distribute it to entire Malaysia region. So if you look at this photo, you might find something wrong with this photo. Okay, it was our first time importing container from China, and we didn't know how to actually deliver it to our customers. So I actually asked a lorry to deliver the goods. This lorry is actually for sand, to actually collect sand, but I actually use it to deliver goods. So, well, we learned from there. So this is my team. It was initially we were small, and now we are actually quite big. Our yearly turnover is like we did 30 million last year. Okay, in 2017, I started Mikey. Some of you might know Mikey. Mikey is an Airbnb operator that handles some of the Exim projects like Expression, Ceylon, Scarlett's, Millers. Yeah, some of you actually bought Millers. Mikey is also in Millers to handle the short-term rental operation. So this is my team. Actually, we had the Chinese New Year dinner a few days ago. Yep. So far, that's a brief introduction about myself, what I did for the past 10 years. Okay, since I came back to Malaysia, I started a few businesses, and some of them are, I think, okay, personally, I think it's quite successful. Some of them not so successful, but throughout this journey, I actually learned a lot of things. So the money that I made from my business, I actually invest into properties. So I'll show you some of the property that I invested in. All right. So this is the first property that I invested in Mont Kiara. It's called Palma. Okay, 1,200 square feet unit, very nice. That time was only selling at 700,000. Okay, 700,000. Now it's above 1 million already. And surprisingly, the rental is very good. This one I rented 4,800 ringgit. 4,800 ringgit. So for 700,000, 4,800 ringgit, do you think it's a good ROI, good return? If you think it's a good return, put number 1 in the checkbox below. 700,000 rented out 4,800 ringgit. Yeah, I personally think it's a very good return. So so I continue to buy. So the second year, okay, I bought another one. This is Mont Kiara Angku Puri. I bought at 800,000 and I rented out 5,000 ringgit to Honda Malaysia, a Japanese company, of course, Honda Malaysia. And then I bought the third one, is Aizen. Okay, this one I rented out to a Japanese company called Hoshiden Electronics, 4,000 ringgit. So I bought 700,000 also. Okay, so I was thinking, wow, my installment, later I'll show you my installment. My installment was like only, how much? 2,000 plus ringgit, because I'm getting 35 years loan, sometimes 40 years. At that time, you can actually leverage on 40 years tenure. So for the first few, I actually got 40 years. The subsequent one is 35 years. So I'm only paying installment about 2,005 ringgit, but I rented out 4,000 plus. So every month, every single month, I'm actually getting a positive income. So I was thinking, wow, property investment can work because I'm getting almost 2,000 ringgit passive income every single month for one property, and I have 4 over there. Okay, this is Mont Kiara Pines. This is my 4th property that I bought in Mont Kiara. Rented out 3,500 ringgit. So I also got about 1,500 passive income from this. So out of these 4 properties, I actually got almost 7,000 ringgit passive income every single month. Meaning after paying the installment, after paying everything, I got 6,000 to 7,000 ringgit. I was thinking, wow, if I retired at that time, it's actually quite good, you know. I mean, you don't have to do anything. 7,000 ringgit actually come into your pocket every single month. So I think, okay, property can do. That's actually started my property investment journey. Okay, or property. That's how I got into IQI, because one of the agents that sold me property was an IQI agent. At that time, that was like 2014. When he joined into IQI, he actually invited me to go in. Okay, then I also continue to invest. This is Summer Suites in KL. So very popular for Airbnb at that time. But this unit, I renovated. I spent about 20,000 to renovate it. It was passed to Makeover Guys. I think some of you know Makeover Guys. Actually did this unit for me, and the rental surprisingly was very good at the time. I rented out 3,000 ringgit. Now because of MCO, it was lower down a bit. Now I rented out 2,000 plus only. That time was 3,000 ringgit. Okay, then I also actually bought 2 units in Summersuite. So this is the second unit. I also did the renovation I did is actually quite nice. I think this one with a projector that project onto the actually to the wall, and the tenant like it, also rented out like 2005. It's a very small unit though, 700 square feet only. Yep. All right. Then I also bought one of the Exim projects. Okay, you guess what is this project? Anyone know what is this project? Write down in the chat box below. Yep, I see someone writing Nidos. This is Nidos. So I also bought Nidos from Exim, and I renovated my unit like this. Actually, the reno is actually quite nice. I spent about 20,000+ to do the renovation. Okay, Muji style. So this one, my rental is a lot higher compared to other. This one in Nidos market that time was like 2,000+ only for rental, but I rented out 2008. This unit. Yep, 2008. So now it's still renting. The tenant is still staying there. Okay, and then I also invested into Novums. This is in Bangsar South. So this is one of my unit renovation that I did. It's like this, very simple, not very expensive, but very cozy, right? So one of the principle of property investment that you have to do very nice renovation, not very expensive renovation. Sometimes you can get things very cheap, like this sofa. You guess how much I got? You have a guess? This sofa, how much? 1,000, 2,000, 1,500. Adrian said 1,500. Actually, I got this sofa for like 1,000+ only, like less than 1,100 ringgit. So sometimes you know where to buy things, you can get valuable, very valuable things. So also I spent like 20,000+ only on this unit. Okay, this is also another unit. Okay, this is actually my unit. This is my client unit. This is my unit. Okay, my unit I rented out. This one how much? 2008. 2008. Okay, like this. So I did some simple renovation over there. And then I tried something very brave with one of my unit. Okay, this unit is under a company. Okay, you know Novum is actually commercial title. So from floor 12 to floor 6, I think floor 8 to floor 12 is actually commercial title, office titles. And you can actually use a Sdn Bhd to buy and get 85% loan. And then that 85% loan will not affect your quota. Do you know that? You can actually buy property using Sdn Bhd, and you can actually get 85% loan without affecting your own quota. So this is what I did. I formed a company called WDCM Holdings together with a few shareholders. And then we renovated the unit. Like I put a very deep blue. That was like try and error. But a lot of people like it, actually. So this one is rented out also. It's very fast. Like within like a few weeks of completing the renovation, this unit was rented out already. Okay. I also bought a property near KLCC. This is the unit. Do you know what property is this? Anyone know what property? Have a guess? Adrian, no, Sky Suite. Now this is my unit. Sky Suite. Actually, my unit can see KLCC. It's on the right-hand side. You can see KLCC. Like here, in fact, when you look out through the window, you can see KLCC. This is a freehold property, selling at a very good price. But in fact, the developer quality is not so good. You see all the wall is actually partition wall. And then the swimming pool has not been opened yet. It was handed over 2 years ago, and then the swimming pool has not opened. So sometimes when you invest into property, choosing the right developer is very important. Choosing a good developer who is very reputable and then very responsible is very good. Is very important. Like this one, the swimming pool is actually very nice on top of the building, but it's not open. It's not even like completing the renovation, because this property is very special. you do not own the swimming pool. The swimming pool is under another title. So it's not part of the strata title. So the developer actually owns the swimming pool, not the joint management body. So they have the right not to open the swimming pool. So this is something that you need to bear in mind when you invest in the properties. Okay, so this they also provide signature kitchens. Okay, this is something that I like. But so far, this property, I'm actually doing renovation right now. Hopefully can rent out after Chinese New Year. Okay, this property is in South Link. Okay, I actually went there with my team today. I just completed the renovation like a few weeks ago, and then it was rented out already to a Chinese lady. So this unit is only 400 square feet, 400 plus square feet, right? One plus one room, rented out 1,900. So about 5% return on investment. Okay, this is a renovation that I did. Okay, so of course, all the properties that I mentioned just now is actually residential property, but I also did industrial investment. So this is a land that I invested back in the old days. When I came back from UK, it was 2011. So 2012, I actually started to invest into land. Okay, let me show you. Invest into land and then build a factory on top. This is a semi-D that we built. Okay, inside this is the interior. And this is the 3D drawings. This is the latest one that we have in Bandar Rinching near Semenyi. And recently, just very recently, I actually bought another piece of land in Deng Kil. Okay, this is 8.7 million in Deng Kil. So in Deng Kil, there's a development by Sam Darby called the Chipta. The entire development is called Serena City. And then this piece of land is called Chipta. CIPTA. So we actually bought this piece of land, number 11. Okay, to actually build factories. And I've calculated the ROI is actually very good. Okay, this is another factory that we built in Sri Kembangan. Okay, this is my partner. So we actually rented out one of the factories that we built. Okay, because it's different entity, we use a rent per to buy, and then my company NNC actually moved to that factory. Okay, like can show you. We actually buy the plastic material that I mentioned just now. I import from China and then trade it locally. Then, okay, recently we signed a loan agreement with RHB Bank, getting a 4 million loan to do plastic trading. So later I'll show you how it works. Okay, if you are property owners, you can actually make use of your property to get extra facilities from the bank for your business. Okay, this is the facility that I got. Okay, if you can see, 4 million from RHB. This is my company, like NNC. Okay, and then this loan is actually guaranteed by SJPP. Anyone have heard about SJPP before? SJPP is a government body, okay, that guarantee your loan. Syarikat Jaminan something. Okay, so actually during this MCO, our government is very generous. They can actually guarantee your loan. Like if you are going for a 4 million loan, normally you need to put in collateral. You need to put in collateral, meaning your property you need to put in there, and then only the bank will give you a loan. But because of MCO, government have this program by SJPP called the like here you see Working Capital Guarantee Scheme, WCGS, and they can actually guarantee your loan, you know, up to 70%. So meaning I get 4 million loan, the government become my guarantor, guarantee 70%. The rest is guaranteed by all the directors. Like here, because I blanco out the director name. In fact, you see here, receipt of government letter of guarantee under WCG S, okay, for the principal financing of 4 million, okay, guarantee limit of 2.8. So the government guarantee your 2.8 million. So you don't have to put in collateral. This is a very good, no, but you have to pay them like 1% a year, which is good. 1% a year is 28,000. You pay 28,000 to get a 4 million loan. It makes a lot of sense. Okay. If you can get it, go and get it. If you are running trading business, go and get this loan. Okay. So we just recently got it. This is, if you look at the date here, November 2021. It's just a few months ago, 2 months ago. Okay. This is my business in a factory. Okay. So now let's talk about why invest into properties. Like some of you are property investors. Why you want to invest in properties? Of course, a lot of people say, I want to make money, but how? Later I'll explain. The second thing is normally people invest in a property to hedge against inflation. If you look at our market right now, everything is increasing in price. The food is become more expensive. Okay. The construction material is getting more expensive. Labor cost is getting more expensive. Land cost is getting more expensive. So if you keep money, ladies and gentlemen, if you keep your money as cash into the bank account, okay, as FD, you are actually losing, you know, because how much FD is giving you? 2%, 2% only. So if the inflation is 4 to 5%, in fact, every single year you are losing 3%, you know, your purchasing power is getting lesser and lesser. So meaning, of course, you feel safe because you have the cash, okay, but in fact, you are losing, okay. So a very good way to hedge against inflation is to put the money into properties, whereby the property will actually appreciate like on par to the inflation. It has to. Why? Because to build properties, you need construction materials, you need labor costs, you need land, okay? And all this, the cost is actually increasing. So the property price will actually increase, okay, on par with inflation, if not higher. So that's why people, the rich people, like to put their money into land, into properties, into different things instead of keeping the cash. Okay, this is one of the very important reasons. Of course, why people buy property, a place to stay. Okay, for your children. Imagine now, if you didn't have a property now, where is your children going to stay in the future? Imagine if they are studying in, let's say, Taylor's or in Sunway, and they don't have a property nearby. Okay, they have to rent properties from others. Okay, when they graduated, they want to come into the workforce, they also have to rent properties, which I believe if you have children right now, if let's say you just have children, 20 years later, the rent is going to be very high. Okay, the property price is going to be very high. Even condo unit or studio unit is going to be more than $1 million and above. So your children in the future will not have an early start in their career. Imagine if you have a place for them to stay and then they don't have to pay rental. Their monthly spendable income will be a lot higher, and then they can do a lot of things instead of paying rent. You know, in the UK, in Australia, in US, most of the salary is actually being used to pay rental. While I was working in UK, my salary was 2,000 British pound back time 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 2,000 British pound. I almost spent 900 British pound on my rental. Almost more than half, almost half. So I only have 1,000 British pound left to actually for my spending. Imagine if my dad have a property near my workplace, I don't have to pay that rental. Okay, or I pay to my dad, is okay, I pay to my dad. Then I will have a lot of income to spend. I can put more money into investment, other investment to grow my business. Okay, so right now, if you don't have a property in town, in a major town, like in KL or in PJ, then you need to start to worry, right? Your children, where are they're going to stay in the future? Okay, so people who actually invested into properties, they also think about this. Okay, a place for their children to stay in the future, in the event that they come and study in KL or in PJ. Okay, of course, some people actually buy property for retirement fund. I'll show you how it can work. Okay, in fact, you can squeeze a lot of money out from your property as a retirement fund. And last but not least, some people buy property for status. Like, wow, if I own this property, very beautiful properties, say other muka lah, okay, I have face, right? If you bring your friend to one of the very beautiful Z series property like Nidos, wow, they will say, wow, your property, your house is so nice, and then you have face. So some people actually invest in the properties because of that. Actually, one of my friends actually brought me to one of his KLCC property, the W Residence. and it was so beautiful. He's actually the master bedroom. Actually, look out the window, you can see KLCC. Very, very nice. I forgot to put the photo here. Maybe I can send to you later. Okay, so this is why people buy into properties. Okay, so far so good. If you're okay, put number 5 in the chat box below so that I know you're still here. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So if I get some response, I have more to share. All right. Yeah, I see a lot of fivers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we want to understand capital appreciation. Okay. Okay, let me give you a scenario. Okay. This year, 2022, if you buy a property at 700,000, okay, and 10 years later, 2032, you sell the property at 800,000. How much money you're going to make? Very simple math, right? 800 minus 700,000, 100,000. You actually make 100,000 profit. But is that actually what you make? Do you think is that easy? Actually, no. You actually make a lot more because if you are investing in the property, you rent out the properties, right? Okay. The rental will actually reduce your loan. So I'll show you the actual calculation, how much you're going to make if you're actually buying at 700,000 and sell at 800,000. Okay. So before I go into that, you have to understand the concept of principal and interest. Okay. So this is a loan amortization schedule. You can actually get this using the apps or using Excel. Okay. Let's say I buy a property at 700,000. Okay. 700,000. And I get the 90% loan, which is 630,000. Okay. At 3% interest rate, which is the current interest rate for 35 years. So initially, if you look at this, the first payment, you have to pay an installment of 2,400 ringgit. But within this 2,400 ringgit, 849 ringgit is a principal, 1,575 ringgit is an interest. Okay, interest you cannot claim back, is to the bank. The principal is to reduce your balance. So if you can see, each payment, your principal amount is actually increasing and the interest is actually reducing. Okay, so 10 years later, which is 120 payment, right? If you pay every month, then it's 120 payment. Your balance on the loan is actually reduced from 630,000 to 511,000. Okay, so in fact, okay, if you sell 10 years later, you get back a lot more money, not just the 100,000. Okay, but then you might ask, hey, what about the interest I have to pay to the bank? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the powerful way things about property investment. You can actually rent your property out. Okay, let's say you are renting just nice, okay, just to cover the payment, 2,400 ringgit. Okay, then actually someone is actually subsidizing your property investment. Okay, you don't have to pay anything, but 10 years later, you get back all this money in one go. And then you might ask also, hey, 2,400 ringgit can rent. I show you some of the data. Okay, this is taken in Bukit Jalil. Okay, Bukit Jalil. If you can see the photos, this is 700 square feet unit renting at 2005. This is 1,000 square feet unit renting at 3,002. This is 700 square feet unit 2008, 2005. This is a bare unit, 2005. This is 2006, 3005. In fact, if you do your property nicely, like the one on the right hand side, okay, with proper renovation, you can actually fetch up to 3,500 ringgit for 3 bedrooms. For 3 bedrooms, current market value. Then you might say, hey, my friend have this property, cannot rent also, cannot rent at good price. Well, then you have to ask now, what property is that? What location is that? And did he actually do his renovation? In fact, if you do your property nicely, it's very easy to rent out at current market value. Okay. Now I own actually more than 15 properties, residential properties. All my properties are rented out. Okay, because I actually spend effort to actually make my property nice. Okay, nicely decorated, nicely renovated. Okay, this is 2005, this is 3,000. This is all taken from iProperty. in Bukit Jalil area. You can actually go and search iProperty yourself. This is not a fake data I got. Okay, this is a real data. Okay, so right now, if you plug this in, okay, 700,000, I sell at 800,000, my profit is 100,000, right? Capital appreciation. But in fact, at 2032, my loan amount is actually 511,000, reduced from the 630,000 previously. Why? Because I already pay off the principal. Who pay off? My tenant pay off, not I pay. From my tenant pocket, I pay to the installment. Okay. So if you only sell at 800,000 10 years later, which is highly profitable, right? If you own a property now, 10 years later, you only sell like 100,000 more. It's very, very possible. I think some of you invested in the D Erica, right? 10 years later, if you sell a property at 100,000 more, you can easily actually sell that. You can easily do that. Okay. So how much money are you going to get back? You're actually getting back 288,000. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Is it easy to save up to 288,000 now? If you are a salary earner, you want to save 288,000, is it easy? If you say easy, number one. If you say not that easy, number two, in the chat box below. 280,000 cash in the bank account, is it easy? I think it's not that easy, right? Yeah. So that's why property investment, even like with a small capital appreciation, you can actually get back a lot more. Okay, if you do the right thing, you choose the right properties. Okay, what if the appreciation is more than 800,000? Okay, I'm taking a scenario of only like 1% appreciation every single year. Okay, meaning this year to next year, the property only appreciate by 1%. Do you think it's possible? Highly possible, right? 1% only. Okay. What if it's go to 3%? In some of the market condition, when the market is quite good, in Malaysia, the property actually appreciate 3 to 5% on a yearly basis. Okay, during the good times. Now MCO slow down a bit, but I think after 1 or 2 years later, once everything is clear out, the MCO is lifted, I think the market will go back to 3% to 5%. So at that time, your 700,000 property might actually appreciate to 940,000. Okay, taking a conservative estimate of 3%. Okay, if you look at this, 3%, 10 years later is 940,000, which is highly possible. I bought my Mont Kiara property at 700,000. Now it's 1.1 million. Okay, it's about 5% here. Also 10 years. I bought it in 2012. Okay, now it's 2022, about 1.1%, 1.1 million, so about 5%. Actually, someone actually offered me 1.1 million that day for my Mont Kiara Palma, but I rejected that because I'm renting out and getting good passive income, so I don't bother selling it. So if I would have sold the property, I would have made a lot of money. Okay, but actually better off I keep it because I'm still renting it out. I'm renting 4,000. Later I'll show you the tenancy agreement. So, and I'm only paying 2,000 ringgit for the installment because the interest rate has already dropped. Initially, I'm paying 2,005, but now I'm paying 2,000 ringgit. So every month I'm getting 2,000 ringgit passive income. Okay, so now assuming 3% capital appreciation, you are selling at 940,000. You're actually getting back 429,000 cash 10 years later. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're a property investment, you do your property up nicely, you rent it out, your tenant is paying for your installment, even though it's just enough to cover, okay, your installment. In fact, you are actually reducing your principal. Okay, if you look at the schedule just now, I show you just now, you're reducing your principal, and 10 years later, that principal that you actually paid will actually reappear as cash when you sell your property. So you're getting 429,000. Okay, some of you might say, Yao Mo, Hai Mai, let me show you. I just sold my property. Okay, recently. I just sold my property. This property was purchased 10 years ago. So you look at the date, December 2021. Okay, 23rd. I actually sold it last month. Okay, so this is a redemption sum. So for those who do not know, when you sell your property, the bank, the lawyer will actually issue a full and final settlement of redemption sum to the bank. So my bank is Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, for this account, for this property, and then the loan sum is actually 466,000. Okay, in fact, it was way more than that 10 years ago. Now I actually reduced the principal to 466,000, and I sold this property for 760,000. So how much money I get back? So I actually got back 293,000 in my bank account right now. Actually, I'm getting the money next week already. So suddenly I have 293,000 cash in my bank account already. Okay. So let me ask you this question also. Again, if you're a salary earner, is it easy to save up to 293,000 within 10 years? I think it's very difficult. Why? Because you will spend your money. So property investment is also a kind of forced savings. So you cannot see the money straight away, but over the years, once you reduce your principal, your loan sum, and then you sell your properties, these savings will actually reappear into your bank account. Okay. Yeah. So it is a very good way of forcing yourself to save money. I know a lot of people make a lot of money, but not a lot of people are good at savings. You make 10,000 ringgit a month, you spend also 10,000 ringgit a month. Sometimes even more if you use credit card, like 11,000, 12,000. I'm surprised, I have a dinner with a lot of my staff recently. A lot of them actually own the iPhone 13 Plus, which is the 3i one, the 3眼仔 iPhone. How much is the iPhone 13 Plus right now? How much is the iPhone 13 Plus right now? Yeah, about 5.6K, right? But their salary is only like 3,000 or 2,000 plus. Yet they can buy an iPhone 13 Plus. So they're actually leveraging on credit. Now, because if you go to iPhone store, okay, you can actually get a 24-year installment plan. So a lot of people nowadays, they are spending money way more than their own capability. Okay. And then 1 year later, maybe they change to iPhone 14. Then another year, they change to iPhone 15. And then the installment of the iPhone actually pile up. Okay. So in fact, if you're making 10,000, you might already be spending 13,000 or even 14,000 a single month. So you have zero savings and going into the negative, because this is the spending behavior right now of a lot of people. Okay. I realize a trend. Yeah. People tend to spend more, okay, right now compared to the previous years. Now, if you go to a shopping mall, let's say, normally which restaurant become full first? Last time it used to be the cheapest restaurant, right? Okay, cheapest. Now it's the most expensive restaurants that get full first. I go to Gardens Mid Valley, you know the 美之锅, the steamboat. Average is like 100 to 200 ringgit per person, but it's always full. Always full. Like Adrian said, burger and lobster always full. I went to Desa Park City that day. Okay, it was a very big contrast. Okay, on one side is the GB and Core, okay, the very expensive restaurant, a very long queue. People are queuing up for that very expensive restaurant. On the other side is a restaurant called the Kopitiam. Yeah, the name is called the Kopitiam. The food is like 5 to 10 ringgit per person only. No people's queuing, empty. So you can see this kind of contrast. Nowadays, the spending habit of people has changed. Even though you are not a very rich person, you tend to go for the very good restaurant, the fine dinings, okay, the Instagrammable restaurants. So this is a trend right now. So if you want to invest, it's actually better to invest in slightly better property compared to the very cheap one. I personally invested into a very cheap properties 10 years ago. It's called One South, the Gardens in Sri Kembangan. That one was selling at 400,000 only. 10 years later, it's selling at 350,000. Actually dropped 50,000. Why? Because the whole place was not very well maintained, and a lot of foreigners over there. And so the price actually dropped. So my advice to you, if you want to invest, it's actually better off invest in a good property. Okay, although the price might be slightly more expensive, like 100,000 more, but in fact, it's a better idea. Why? Then when you sell it, you get a lot more. Okay, and it's easier to sell. Now, even the cheap properties, if you put down the price, also nobody want to buy. But good properties, okay, the very beautiful one, people are actually queuing up to buy. Okay, so developer is very important. Location is very important. Workmanship is also very important. So this is one of the advice I can give you if you want to invest into properties. All right. So the next topic that I want to talk about is to understand rental yield. So some of you might know what's rental yield, but there are actually a few different ways to calculate rental yield. Okay, one is called a gross rental yield. The other way is called a cash to cash rental yield. Okay, how do we distinguish these two? Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I take the property just now, 700,000. If I can rent 3,000 a month, normally how we calculate is take 3,000 multiply by 12, that's 36,000. And that return is 5%, 5.15%. You take 36,000 divided by 700,000. Okay, that's 5.14%. Okay, this is called a gross rental yield. It gives you a feeling of the property, whether the rental yield is good or not. 5% nowadays is actually okay lah. Okay, not very good, not very bad. Okay, okay rental yield. Okay, so but cash to cash rental yield, you have to take into account of the initial down payment that you actually pay to own this property. For example, on the left hand side, this one, okay, if I'm buying 700,000, I have to pay 10% down payment, which is 70,000. I get a loan of 630,000. My monthly investment is 2,400. This is the installment. And rental per month, let's say 3,000. Okay, same. Let's standardize everything. So I have a net cash flow of 500 ringgit, 575 ringgit. So my net cash flow per year is 6,900 ringgit. So you take 6,900 ringgit, divide by the initial down payment that you actually come out from. This is the money that you come out from your pocket. Then you get a 9.86%. So this is called a cash to cash rental yield, 9.86%. But on the other hand, if you buy some of the properties with rebate, okay, nowadays a lot of property with rebates, you don't have to come out with so much money. Okay, let's say I come out with 8% rebate, I only pay 2%, which is 14,000. Of course, my loan has to be higher. So if you look at this, okay, on the left hand side, you have to pay 70,000. On the right hand side, I only pay 14,000. My monthly investment is slightly more because I'm getting a bigger loan, but it's only 200 ringgit more. Okay, you see, 200 ringgit more. If I still rent out at 3,000 ringgit per month, my net cash flow is slightly reduced, 300 plus ringgit. But you see, my ROI, my return on investment is actually 3 times compared to this. Why? Because my initial outflow of cash is a lot less. Here, I have to come up with 70,000. Here, I only come up with 14,000. So my ROI is 30%. So in investment, there's one very important thing is we need to know how to leverage on other people's money. What's other people's money? It's called OPM, means bank money. Okay, if you know how to do this, meaning you don't come up with a lot of money, but yet you're still getting the rental, your tenant is still reducing the principal for you, then your ROI become very high. Okay, why? Because I don't come up with my own money, ma. So this is what smart businessmen do. They always use other people's money to do business. Same as property investor. Okay, so my advice to you, if you can cash buy a property, normally don't cash buy lah. Okay, go and get a loan. It's actually better off for your money. Okay, provided, okay, there's a provided here, provided you rented out your property. Okay, if you don't rent out your property, your interest is going to be high. Then that will reduce your ROI. But if you can rent out, then your tenant is actually paying your interest, you're paying your principal. And then 5 years later, 10 years later, this whole lump sum of cash actually come out, actually will appear again. So this is how you actually calculate cash to cash return. Okay, so some people ask me, is it more advisable to buy sub-sales or more advisable to buy a project? In fact, you have to look at the price, look at the installment, look at the down payment. You have to do a comparison like this. Later, I'll do a comparison for you. Okay, so let's do a case study. Let's do some case study. What I mentioned just now, I can all back up with real life data. Okay, so far so good. Everything okay? Oh, someone asked, what about the renovation cost? Yes, you can actually add in the renovation cost here, but for both, you also have to add in. So if let's say my renovation is 20,000, your down payment means 90,000, or this is 35,000. The ROI is about the same, because each property you also have to renovate, unless you are buying partially furnished or fully furnished. Okay, you can use this Excel, add in the renovation cost on both sides, left and right, is about the same. The ROI is about the same. Yeah. But here, you have to come up with 90,000, or if the renovation cost is 20,000, here you have to come up with 34,000. You still save a bit of initial down payment, initial investment. The money you save, you can use for renovation. Okay, let's do some case study. So this one is the property I mentioned just now in Mont Kiara, Palma. I bought at 700,000. You look at this red box, 700,000 at 2011. I rented out 4,008. Okay, you look at here. These are my tenancy agreement to Hoshiden Nippon Express. This is to a Japanese guy called Kohei Ishinaka. Okay, 4,008. Okay, then this tenant, this Japanese guy actually left, and then it was taken by another Japanese guy. And because of MCO, this was rented out last year. You look at the date, 2021. I managed to rent out 4,000 ringgit. If you don't believe me, this is a real one. You can show this video. This is my tenancy agreement. Okay. You see, February 2021 to January 2023, 4,000 ringgit. Okay. This is video. This is Mont Kiara. Okay. And my installment, this is from Public Bank, is 2,489 ringgit. Okay. Now, because that time the interest rate is BLR minus 2.4, that time was 4.2 effective rate, 4.2. Now it's 3% only. So my installment is actually, I think, 1,009 or 2,000 right now. So installment is 2,000. I rent out 4,000. I have a net of 2,000 ringgit. Then assessment, maintenance fee is about 300 plus ringgit. So every month I'm getting 1,007 ringgit. Okay. So let's calculate a cash to cash return. It's actually 14%. Okay. I'm actually getting 14% ROI on this property. Okay. Now, this is 2015 data. Now I can sell 1.1 million. So I'm making good money. So this is, if you look at iProperty, that's 900,000, but this is like a few years ago. Now it's selling at someone actually offered me, not I from iProperty. Someone actually offered me 1.1 million. If you calculate 1.1 million minus off 700,000, again, minus off my loan, I think if I sell right now, I think I'll get back 300, 400, 500. I think I will get back 500,000 to 600,000 cash in my bank account. Okay. So this is how you invest in the property. So beside residential unit, I also invest in land, which I mentioned just now. So this is the land investment that I talk about. Let me show you the price. This is actual data, the real data. Okay. So in 2012, okay, we actually buy this piece of land, 2.011 million. Okay, 40 ringgit per square feet. So this piece, look at this blue box here. Okay. Then, okay, in 2013, the next piece of land, just now was this piece of land. You look at this, the neighbor, like two neighbor ahead away. This is all the same size, 2.6 million. In 2015, another piece of land was sold in the middle here. Okay, 3.33 million. 3.33 million. Now, okay, the latest one, 2022, we actually got an offer for that piece of land, 4.1 million. Okay, but we are not selling right now. 4.1 million, but we're not selling. So if you calculate the ROI from 10 years ago, 2012, to now, 2022, I actually make 2.167 million ringgit Malaysia. 108% return on investment. So this is how property investment can work. The capital actually appreciate very fast. Actually, for land investment, condo is also fast, but condo is slightly slower compared to land. Land is actually going very fast. Why? Well, because no much more land left, right? If you sell this piece of land, means no more. Okay. But there's one thing that you need to bear in mind. The threshold to get into land investment is a lot higher. Because if you want to buy 2 million land, you need to come out with 40% down payment. Because if you invest in the land, you can only get 60% loan. 4 times 2 million, 40% times 2 million, that's 800,000. So you need to take out 800,000 cash. Yeah. So this is normally for salary earner, is very difficult to go in. But for property owner that trade up, you might be able to consider this. What do you mean by trade up? Like what I did just now, I own a property for a few years. Okay, people help me to subsidize my principal and interest. Then later I sell, I actually get back a lump sum of cash, like 500,000. So if you have 2 or 3 properties, you get back like 1 million plus. Then you can start considering using the 1 million plus to go into land investment or even industrial or commercial investment. Okay, so there's different phases for people who just starting to invest in the property. Of course, condominium service apartment is the easiest to get in because there's rebates. There is 90% loan that you can leverage. So it's easier to go in. Once you go in, if you rent it out nicely, and then after 5 years to 10 years, you manage to sell a few, then suddenly a lump sum of cash come out, like let's say 500,000 or to 1 million. Then you can take this amount of money and put it into a bigger investment. Okay. Then you can start making very good money already. Wait, like this one. We sold and then we make a few million. Okay. What other investment can be so fast? Now, okay, this is outside topic lah. Besides invest into property, if you invest in these luxurious watches, you also can make good return. I don't know why suddenly the watch price shot up a lot. Like this watch, okay, I'm not sure whether you know or not. This is Richard Mille. This is owned by my friend. He bought last year 1.2 million. I'm not joking. This watch actually cost 1.2 million. Okay, Richard Mille is actually owned by Rosmar. Okay, 1.2 million. Last month, he sold for 2 million. 2 million. So he made 800,000 profit from this watch alone. Okay, so this outside topic lah. But this one also not a lot of people can have the cash like 1.2 million to buy a watch ma. Okay. This is me lah. Okay, I bought a watch last month. This watch, okay, when I bought is some of my friends know is actually 200,000. 200,000. And last week I checked the price is 266,000. So I actually make 60,000 in 1 month time. So this is luck lah, I think. But this one is not suitable for everyone. It's goring lah, people goring the watch, and then suddenly the price went up. Okay, this is outside topic. Okay, so I also do development. This is my dad. Together with my dad, we do development. The piece of land that we bought, we actually submitted for building plan to develop factories. So this is the factory that we built. This is construction. This is the land that I showed you just now in Rinching. Okay, and then we built our factories. Okay, and then you know what? We sold the factories. You know, I show you this data just now. Okay, it's this piece of land. Okay, in 2012. Okay, we purchased this piece of land 2 million. 2 million. Okay, and then we developed into factories, which is this one. Okay, this factory. Okay, this factory, and then we sold it. We sold how much? We sold 7.2 million. So I spent 2 million buying the land, 1.5 million to develop the factories, 3.5 million, we sold at 7.2. So it's 100% return. So we make about 3 plus million from this investment. Okay. But there's a big but. If I didn't sell it, like this was sold like 3-4 years ago. If I didn't sell it right now, the factory is actually selling at 10.5 million. This is the latest data I got. This is from iProperty, like very recently. Okay, it's 530 per square feet. This one 462 per square feet, 466 per square feet in the same area. So this factory, if I didn't sell back in like a few years ago, if I hold it until now, I can actually sell it for 10 million. So making 3.3 million more money out of this investment. So in fact, a property, if you can hold, you hold forever. If you don't need the money, hold forever, and then you definitely will win. If that property is a good property. Okay. Yep. So so now continue with the second piece of land. We also do the same thing. Like this is the development town planning consultant that planned the development for us. Okay. So already submitted. I think we have developing like 4 or 5 building over there. This is last year, 2021. So this is the building plan that we submitted to the architect. So also semi factories. Okay, so this factory is also rented out. So in that area, we're rented out like 1.2 ringgit per square feet. So each semi-D is 10,000 square feet. So one factory can rent 12,000 ringgit. 2 factory can actually rent 24,000 ringgit. Getting a 5% ROI, return on investment. Okay. So now let's do some case study also on residential landed properties. So people think property prices are too high already, like cannot go up further. But in fact, every single year, if you look at people's perception on property, they will also think the property is very high. You very rarely hear, oh, property is very cheap right now. Very rare. Very unlikely you hear that. Normally, people will say, wow, property is very high now. The price is very high. 10 years ago, 200,000 condominium. People also say, wow, siao, are you buy 200,000 condominium? The landed house, terrace house, they only 300,000. But can you get 200,000 condominium right now? In Puchong, in Bukit Jalil, or in PJ area? No. 10 years ago, you could. But now, no more. Now, 700,000, 800,000. People also say, wow, siao, so expensive condominium. But believe me, okay, 10 years later, you will say 700,000 is very cheap. Because at that time, it will be like 1.4 million, 1.5 million. I can assure you, in good location. Now, 1 million property is becoming a norm already, right? If you go to Bukit Jalil, those very good property like Twin Arcs, like the Rains, it's selling at 1 million and above, and people are still buying. So if you wish that kind of property in that kind of location to drop back to 200,000, that will only happen in your dream. Okay, it will not happen realistically. Okay, so let me show you these two areas, TDDI and Bangsar. Okay, I got this news article in the internet in 1991. Okay, the 2-story terrace house in TDDI is only selling for 230,000. Okay, 230,000, and the 1-story link house in Bangsar actually was selling at 158,000. Okay, right now, how much is the price? You guess. TDDI and Bangsar. Okay, if you look at this price from the Edge property, this was taken a few years back. Okay, Daman Tun is 1.3 million already for 2-story terrace house. For Bangsar, is 1.275 million for 1-story terrace house. Okay, 1-story terrace house at 1.27 million. That's 2015. Right now, I did a study in iProperty. Taman Tun 2-story terrace house is selling at 1.75 million. Okay, Bangsar 1-story terrace house is selling at 1.8 million. And the 2-story terrace house is selling what, 2.35 million transacted. Okay. Not asking price, is transacted. So if you see the house actually appreciate like 1,000%. In 1991, 230,000. Today, 1.75 million, 7.6 times. Bangsa is 11 times. So imagine back in the old days, if you have invested into Bangsa or TTTI, how much money you can make? You sell a property, you get 1.8 million. Yeah. So this is the power of property investment. And well, if you have any friends who live in TTTI or live in Bangsa, you ask them, you definitely know the price is crazy there. One of my friends just invested one in TTTI, a terrace house, 2-story terrace house, not very big house, 1.7 million recently. Okay, he bought, and then he spent 700,000 doing the renovation. 2.4 million for a terrace house right now in good location. And people are still buying. Why? Because of location. TTTI is a posh location. A lot of rich people are staying there. A lot of good school, a lot of good office over there, and very convenient to go everywhere. So when we consider buying properties, always look at the location. Is there a big potential in that location? If yes, the property price is definitely going to increase. All right, and let me show you this piece of land. This is a piece of land, 2 acres in Sri Kembangan. Okay, how much is it selling right now? In 1991, okay, it's selling at 90,000. Right now, it's selling at 10.45 million. Do you believe me? If you believe me, write number 1. If you say I'm joking, just write number 2. Do you believe? Yeah, some people say believe. Okay, let me show you the SPA. 116 times. Okay, this is the latest data I got in Sri Kembangan. 1 acre is 5.7 million. So 2 acres is 10 plus million. Okay. This is a piece of land. I have the Geran. Okay. This is in Sri Kembangan. Okay. 9, you see here, 9,232 square meter, which is about 100,000 square feet, which is about 2 acres. Okay. This is a SPA dated 1987. This is a real one. You know, that time is you using typewriter to type your SPA, no computer yet. So 1987, between this group of people, you know, last time land used to have a lot of owners one, because the father actually passed away and then it passed to the children. Like if they have like 5 children, the 5 children will share this piece of land, and all the names will be inside the SPA. Like this piece of land, you have Ming Lai Yong, Chu Kok Wing, Chu Kwai Ying, and what, Chiu Chu Ni, okay, Chu Fuk Sang, Xiao Xiu Ying, all I think it's all like family members, okay, owning this piece of land. Okay, so actually was purchased from them at 91,000. You look at this, purchase price 91,000. Then after that, in 2010, that's 10 years ago, like 12 years ago, this piece of land was actually sold at 4.5 million. So from 90,000 up to 4.5 million. Okay, but also a big but. If this piece of land was not sold in 2010, if we keep until now, it could have been sold at 10 million, 10.45 million. We will make 5 million more from this piece of land. So this is how crazy property investment is. Okay. All right. So this is about property investment. So it's not a get rich quick scheme. Like if you buy property now, you expect to make a lot of money next year. No, property is not like that. Property need time to grow. You need 1 to 5% every single year. then 10 years later, you'll be very well off. So this is something called delayed gratification, whereby you invest into something, you expect to get return like 5 to 10 years later. So property investment is mid-term to long-term game. It's not a short-term game. So if you think, I bought property last year, now I cannot sell at a higher price, oh, property investment cannot work. If you look at history of mankind, property is always appreciating, right? You just have to wait. Because why? Human population is getting bigger and bigger. Land is getting rarer and rarer. Okay, meaning less land. You cannot generate more land unless you go to filling up the sea. So land in good location like PJ, like KL is getting less and less. That's why property, the price will be going up and going up. Okay, so this is a common understanding, and it's a fact lah. Okay, it's a fact. So right now, as promised just now, I want to talk about SME loan and properties. Okay, so this is my business called NNC Plastic. So how we actually grow this business is like this, using this concept of banking facilities or banker acceptance. Okay, let me explain what is that. Okay, for example, okay, these goods I actually import from China. I have to pay the supplier. But if I don't use cash to pay them, I can actually use a loan to pay them. I go to the bank, I ask for the bank, I ask a loan from the bank. The bank will need a collateral, normally it's a property, so that they can give me a certain amount of loan, and then I can use this loan to buy goods from my supplier in China. And then the goods will be sent to Malaysia, and then I sell to my local distributor. I sell to my clients. So how to get this loan? Okay, normally you need collateral. So property is the best collateral. So how it works is like this. Let's say I own a property 1 million. Okay, or I want to buy a property 1 million ringgit. Then this property has a for sale value. This one is done by the valuer. Normally it's 70% of the property price with 700,000. Now, normally the bank can offer up to 2.5 times the for sale value as your loan. Okay, which is 1.75 million. 700,000 times 2.5 is 1.75 million. So I want to buy this property, I have to pay the seller, right? So I take a loan for the property, which is 85%. For industrial or for commercial, is actually 85%. Okay, so 870,000. So I have to come up with a capital of 150,000 to make up of 1 million, right? 85% loan, 15% is my down payment. Then this bank offer 1.75 million minus off my 850,000 loan, I still have 900,000. You see here, the power is here. I own this property. Then on top of that, I have 900,000 trading facilities, which I can use to buy stocks from my supplier and do business. Do you know that? You can go up to 2.5%, 2.5 times. Not a lot of people know that, you know. So this is how we make use of property to actually grow our business. Let me show you some of the actual documents. So this is obtained from Affin Bank. You see, Affin Bank actually offer a banking facilities of 1.8 million to us. And then we are actually putting a property inside to get this 1.8 million. Okay, so the bank will need us to do a valuation. This valuation is done by Rain and Horn, a very famous valuer. So for sale value, you look at here, for sale value is 1.4 million. The property is worth 2 million. For sale value is 1.4. And using this 1.4 million minus off the loan, we are getting a 1.8 trade line facilities, which is called a banker's acceptance here. Banker acceptance 1.8 million. So now I have 1.8 million loan. I cannot cash out. I cannot cash out, right? I can only use this to buy things from my supplier. Okay, you go to the bank counter, you say, I want to buy this. Your supplier will issue you an invoice. You show the invoice to the bank. The bank will actually issue the payment straight to your supplier. Then you sell your goods, you get back the money, and then you pay back the loan. Okay, Normal is 4 months, 120 days. So you see, now if you have a business, this will become a very powerful leveraging engine. Okay. On top of the 900,000 loan, this one, I can actually rent out my property. 1 million property, if I rent out 5% ROI, I get 50,000 a year. I can pay off the 800,000 installment, 850,000 installment. On top of that, your property price also appreciate over time. Appreciate over time. And when your property appreciate over time, these banking facilities will also increase. Why? Because your for sale value will be increasing. Your bank offer will also increase. So you can get more loan to actually do your business. So people who know this concept, but they grow their business very fast. If you only have 1 million cash, you do buying and selling using your 1 million cash, you don't own any property. But if I 1 million cash, I use that to buy a property, I put it to the bank, okay? Then I have 900,000 more. You get the concept? And on top of that, I own the property. And on top of that, I can rent out the property. Okay. So beside this, I also got from Public Bank, the 1 million loan from Public Bank. This is also banker acceptance, PA. I also got from RHB, 900,000. Then yeah, also I did another valuation. This is a for sale value of 1.125 million. And I also got from UOB, 2.2 million. So you see, I'm getting like almost 10 million loan already to do my business. I don't have to use cash. I use loan, other people's money to do my business. I pay the interest, it's okay. Then recently, you look at the date, November 2021, I got another 4 million loan. This one is even better, no need collateral, guaranteed by government. Okay. So far, any questions on property investment? Are you learning good things? If you are learning things, press number 1 in the chat box below. Let me see whether you are learning things or not. Right. Thanks for the ones. Thank you. Thank you. So now let's come back to this. Okay. Just now I mentioned, if you are buying property, the down payment, the initial investment is very important. Okay. That's why I also always recommend my client to actually buy using property with rebates. Okay. Why? Because if you look at this property, both 700,000, one with rebate, one without rebate, the ROI is very different. One is 9.86%, one is 30%. Why? Because if you can use the bank money, you use the bank money. You don't use your own money, provided you have to plan to rent out your unit. Okay, so your tenant can actually subsidize your installment. So this concept of initial investment is very important in any investment. Okay, meaning how much money you come out to own this business, or how much money you come out to own this property. Okay, let me do a comparison of sub-sale versus project. Okay, let's say I have 2 property in mind. One is sub-sale unit, one is project. Price, one is 600,000, one is 700,000. Of course, sub-sale right now is very difficult to get rebate. It's not impossible. You can actually mark up the price and then get more loan. But right now, from a bank perspective, it's not that easy to do anymore. But for project, yes. Okay. So let's say this project have 8% rebate. Most of our project that we sell have 5 to 8% rebate. Okay. I believe our client here, you know, if someone just bought a D-Reka just now, I heard D-Reka is 8% rebate. So you're actually getting a very good deal. And if you loan 90%, sub-sale you loan 550,000, 40,000. Project you loan 630,000. If you look at this, okay, the down payment, okay, for 10% sub-sale is 60,000. For 2%, because rebate, there's a rebate, you only pay 14,000. So there's a 46,000 different. You can actually save 46,000 initial capital. On top of that, sub-sale, there's a legal fee, you know. But project, most of the time, the developer actually cover the legal fees, right? So total initial investment, one is 74,000, one is 14,000. Okay. But you might say, but I'm getting a higher loan. Okay, 630,000 versus 540,000. But in fact, you look at the monthly installment, it's actually a very small difference, you know. 346 ringgit different only. Okay, I'm getting a higher loan, but I'm paying 300 ringgit more every single month. Okay, 1 year I save, if I buy sub-sale, I save 4,000 ringgit. Okay, but bear in mind, you have to come up with 46,000 more initially, right? You come up with 46,000 more. If you use this 4,000 ringgit to pay this 46,000, you can really pay 11 years. By that time, your property would have appreciated a lot already. So for me, if I am buying property for own stay, let's say I want to buy a property to get married, I will actually buy project instead of sub-sale. Why? Because I actually save a lot of money. I save on the legal fees, I save on the loan stamp duty, I even sometimes save on the renovation, because now a lot of developers are giving partially furnished unit. Okay. And I save on the down payment. I'm okay to pay like 300 to 400 ringgit more every single month because I save upfront. Okay, so this is the concept of initial investment. And when you sell the project, your return on investment will be a lot higher if you hadn't come up with so much down payment in the beginning. So this is the concept. All right. So this is how I advise my client and how I actually do it myself, because now I'm actually changing from sub-sale to buying projects, which I think is better off, right? So if you are interested to invest into projects, okay, we are pre-launching in Bukit Jalil right now. Okay, this information is not in the market right now. We don't know what is going to be launched. Okay, we believe is 3 bedrooms unit, 900 to 1,001 square feet. Okay, in Bukit Jalil, there are 2 projects. Okay, one is opposite KM1. Okay, behind the Bukit Jalil Link shop lot. This is Liming Xiaoxue. This is Liming Xiaoxue. This is the new project that we're going to launch soon, like in a few months later. And there's another project opposite Pavilion, Bukit Jalil, which is here. Also going to launch like a few months later. So if you are interested in these projects, okay, you can actually contact the agent that brought you in here. All right. Or you can fill up the form using this link. Right? This is a bit of advertisement here. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you have learned something today. Right? So any Q&A? Now is a Q&A time for everyone. Okay, about property investment, about share investment, about watch investment, yeah, about development. You can ask any questions. Okay. You can actually unmute your mic. All right, before we leave here, let's take a group photo. Can all of you turn on your webcam? We take a group photo together. Let me stop the sharing here. So for those who cannot open your webcam, it's okay. All right. So look at the camera and say cheese. Let me press a print screen now. 1, okay, second page. 2, All right, so I'll share back the screen. So for those who are interested in the Bukit Jalil project, you can sign up with this link. I'll put it into the chat box, so you can click. And in the meantime, okay, I hope you have enjoyed the sharing. This is my experience over the past 10 years in both residential investment and also industrial investment. Actually, I also did some commercial investment, but I didn't share it here. So I strongly believe with the right knowledge, you can choose the correct property and you invest correctly, you can actually make your investment grow very fast. And eventually, on the midterm to long term, you make a lot of money, at least like a few $100,000 from a single property investment. So someone asked this question: can I ask what made you to decide taking a unit at South-Link? Okay, for South-Link, why I invested in South-Link? Because I think the location is very good. It's a mixed development. It's near to LRT station, and then the price is reasonable. Okay, that's why I took a unit over there. And well, I got my key a few months ago, and it's proven right. My unit is rented out 1,009. It's 400 plus square feet only, 1,000 rand ringgit, you know. And the lady is actually working in G Tower KLCC. So why he wants to stay in South-Link is because of our LRT station. She can take the LRT station straight to G Tower. How do you see Malaysia property market when US Fed likely to increase rate by 4 times in 2022? Okay, you can already feel the trembling market already. What happened when the rate is increased is the share market is dropping right now. You can see share actually drop a lot. Cryptocurrency also drop a lot. Okay, but I would say property wouldn't be affected so much. Okay, property is actually very resilient to these kind of things. Maybe there will be a bit of fluctuation, but on the long term, you still go back up. And then the market will always adjust back. Okay, be it like you lower down or you increase the rate, the market will always adjust back. The share market drop will be a very short-term thing. Okay, I look at all the market data. If you go to Google, you look at all the market data, all the financial crisis, property drop, share price drop, and then within like 1 or 2 years, it bounced back up even stronger. I experienced 2008 financial crisis. That time I was in London. You know, there were so many lelong, okay, back in London. And then the property price is actually very cheap that time. But in 2010, 2011, all the price came back up already. And now it's like double of what was in 2008. Double of the peak of 2008. Okay, not double of the bottom, double of the peak. The share price is also the same. Yeah, let me show you the data. If you go to Google, you look at share price. Let's say FTSE, okay, S&P 500. This is an index, okay. You look at max. So let's look at 2008. Okay, can you see my screen? Can, right? If you can see my screen, can you put 1? Hello? Okay, you can see. All right. So you see, just now who asked me these questions? Lee Wei Ling. Okay, Lee Wei Ling. You see, 2008, there was a financial crisis. So the market actually dropped. Right? You see, peak 1,004, pop, dropped to 700. Then you see what happened eventually. You see now, that's 4,000 over. The peak before the financial crisis was 1,005. Now it's 4,000. So if you always plan your investment on a long-term basis, you will never lose. Especially for like index or for property, they roughly follow this trend, FTSE trend. Or you can do VOO, which is a Vanguard, which also track the market. If you look at this, like you see 2008 let's go to 2008, around here lah. Okay, it's all go back up, drop, come back up, and then MCO, you see 2012 or 20 is MCO. The market actually plunged, but you see what happened eventually? Double the peak before the MCO. So right now, you see here, there's a big drop, right? If you look at this big drop here, if you put it into 5 years, you can see a big drop here, you see? If you put 1 year, also a big drop. But if you put maximum, it's just like, it's a very small drop only. So if you buy shares or invest into the property market, if you look for the long term, actually this small drop doesn't mean a lot. So I would say, I would advise all of you to plan your extra cash. You don't put all your money into one thing. Then you cannot survive. But if you can survive, on the long term, you always win. Ming, he said, how you plan your investment so wisely? I like to read a lot. I need to study a lot. And I talk to a lot of these businessmen that were very successful. So I learned from them. Yeah, and then for the past 10 years, I've been always reading what's happening in the market right now. And then I'm observing how the property is doing. And on top of that, I'm an engineer. So engineer, I like to do Excel analysis. So that's my analysis. Okay. Okay, how to keep buying residential property with minimal cash? Okay, for me, okay, initially I use my own cash to buy. So 90%, and then even I buy 70%. Okay, so 70%, let's say you buy a 700 property, 30% of 700,000 is 210,000. So if from your business you can make 210,000, okay, you still can invest if you can identify good properties. And then on top of that, if you buy new projects, there's like 8% rebate, so you save a bit on the cash also. Another way is to leverage on your friend who have 90% quota. So some of the property I show you just now, some I use my sister name to buy, okay, some I use my friend name to buy together, okay, because they have 90%. Imagine if you can get 8% rebate, okay, then you're only paying 2% down payment, which is, if it's a 700,000 property, you're only paying 14,000. Share by 2, like 7,000 each, leverage on the 90%, and then you have 50% share on the property. If my age is 50 years old, I can only need 20-year loan. Let's say I rented 2K every month. I still have top up cash 2K to cover my installment. Okay. If your loan amount is 20 years, then your installment will be very high. But your principal is actually that you serve every month is actually a lot more. Okay. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let me open up Excel. Okay, let's say my loan amount is also 700,000 property lah, 630,000. Interest rate now is 3%. Okay, loan. Okay, let's compare two. One is 35 years. Okay, you look at the first line. Your principal is actually 942 ringgit. But if I go for 20 years, my principal is actually 2,000. Yeah. So you are like forced savings. The 2,000 ringgit does not disappear. You are saving into the property. When you sell it, you also come back. Yeah. But if you think that topping up 2K to cover installment is too much, then I will advise you to get someone else to buy. You join name with someone else, someone younger. A lot of people, they use their son name, their daughter name to buy. Then you can leverage on the 35 years loan. Like if you join him, like sometimes I join him with my mom. My mom is 55 years old, and then I was 30 years old back then. Then I can still leverage on the 35 years loan. Yeah. But if you don't have anyone to join name, then if the 2,000 ringgit extra every month is of burden to you, then I would advise you not to invest. But if you think 2,000 is okay, I can save it into the property. I can pass the property to my children. Then, yeah, by all means, go ahead. So it really depends on your own monthly installment appetite. Some people 10K to them is nothing. Some people say, I don't want to spend so much. Yeah. Yeah, answer your questions, Kelvin. Hello, Kelvin. All right, cool. I hope I have answered you. Yeah. Right, any more questions? So if there's no more questions, for those who are interested into investing into Bukit Jalil project, you can click on the link in the checkbox below. I post one more time. You can paste it into your Google Chrome and then fill in the form, or you can contact the agent that brought you in here. We'll be launching it, I think maybe end of next month. iPhone, are you a Elite One agent or are you our buyer? Yeah, you can get from your agent if you would like to get a replay. Recent mega flood in Klang, Shah Alam. I guess people will discuss this area for investment. Besides Pavilion, Bukit Jalil, what other places have better bet? Okay, you have to look at those places with a lot of potential. When I say potential, is job opportunities. Okay, so in Selangor, what area have a lot of job opportunities? PJ have a lot of job opportunities. Bukit Jalil also have a lot of job opportunities. Okay, so if I put my bet, I would put my bet on this area, near like Mid Valley area, Bangsa South area, Bangsa area. This area have a lot of job opportunities, and a lot of people are staying here. Okay, when I say a lot of people from outside the state. For example, my friend from Penang, from Kelantan, from Johor, when they move to KL or Selangor, where normally do they stay? They will stay near Old Klang Road. They will stay at PJ. Okay, very rarely they will stay in Klang. They won't stay in Gombak. They won't stay in Ulu Langat. So they will stay in PJ area. So that's why PJ is a golden triangle of Selangor. Yeah. So I will put my bet in this area. Yeah. Of course, Klang and Shah Alam, unless your family is there, is for the local market. Because I don't think a lot of outsider will actually rent property over there unless they work in that area. Yep. So Lee, did I answer your questions? PJ area, PJ area. All right, any more questions? All right, so if there's no more questions, thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed the sharing and Happy Chinese New Year! 新年快乐! Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, Ahmad. Right, so I wish all of you a very prosperous new year. 2022 is going to be very, very exciting. The market is going to come back. For those who do business, there are plenty of opportunities out there. And let's make good money together. Thank you. Thank you.